quite like Far Cry Primal, which, if nothing else, tells you that my opinion on video games shouldn't be listened to, let alone valued. I don't understand PC game. Like, what does a modern rig cost now? Like, if you were making a PC that was good enough to play games well, what it's like £2,000, maybe? And yet, that's so much money, and it's already out of date before you've even got it out of the box. If I came home with a gaming PC and my wife didn't leave me, I'd be angry. As someone who's been trying to convince people that playing games isn't a complete waste of time for decades, I got really excited when esports first came out, but everybody's trying to convince people that it's a thing now and there's big arenas and all these big prizes, but it feels like they're preaching to the converted. I mean, David Icke can fill some pretty big spaces, but it doesn't mean the majority of people don't think he's crackers. It's hard to care about open world games anymore. Like 5-10 years ago, if a new title came out, it was quite exciting, but now I don't know if there's any time or place a game's going to go that I'm particularly going to care about. We had Creed and Far Cry, Watch Dogs, GTA, just blah blah. We've had all of those games, and if I do get a new one, even if it looks like one that's interesting, all it's going to boil down to is I'm going to load up a mini-map, find out where one of my imaginary friends is, then go and visit them so they can tell me who to shoot next. Well, it's the best one, isn't it? It was when Microsoft said that they were open to cross-platform multiplayer playing, just so that, I guess because they needed other people on an online lobby to play games with them if they'd got an Xbox One. It's the saddest thing I've seen since the short kid at middle school helped the bullies throw his bag on the roof. I think mobile gaming is incredible because we've taken it for granted really quickly. Like, in my pocket, I've got Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter 2, Grand Theft Auto 3. You know, all these games, they're completely unplayable because there's no buttons or joysticks, but it's still amazing. I think there's too many simulation games these days. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a bit of SimCity. Not the most recent one, I've never been that drunk, but you've got to ask if we're making the best use of the planet's limited resources when we've got things like Utility Truck or Roadwork Simulator. That's a DVD that could have had an Asterix movie on it. I do really, really like the Zelda games, but it's symptomatic of the problem that Nintendo have got with the way they manage their franchises, because it's good, Zelda's good, it is good, but it doesn't make any sense why there is a Twilight Princess HD, but no Super Mario Galaxy HD. That's like if Apple Music hadn't bothered remastering the Beatles back catalogue and did Badfingers instead. With the Vita, I was really, really excited about the remote play feature, but it turns out that's only good if you're also a massive fan of lag. I like Donkey Kong, really like Donkey Kong, but before I even knew that was a thing, I had Killer Gorilla on the Amstrad CPC 464. Yeah? It was basically Donkey Kong, but just like different sprites. Back then, you could just rip another game off completely and no one would care. It's not like now. Shadow of Mordor accepted, of course. Wii Sports is one of the best games of all time, and the Wii is the best console of all time, which I am sure will make people watching this really, really angry. But the Wii did something that, when gaming first started in the arcades, it was a joystick, a button, and that was your lot, and anyone could do it. You could just walk up to it, put your money in and play it. And for the last 20 years, gaming has willfully seemed to make itself so complicated, nobody enjoy it. And you could talk about 60 frames per second or 1080p all you want, but I would much rather have a console that I could play with my granddad to make him smile. No, I am keeping my mouth shut. The last thing Gamergate needs is another white man's opinion. No doubt you can now cut to one.
I just think, I'm going to say this down the camera, women shouldn't play games. Don't think that at all. Do not think that at all.